Senator Elizabeth Warren runs an agency that protects consumers from predatory payday lenders. Now, ever since the inception of this new agency, Republicans have done everything they can to try to stop it. Well, thankfully for them, they now have a new ally, the chair of the DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who I like to call Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz. So the Huffington Post explains, payday lenders have been gunning for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau since the day President Barack Obama tapped Elizabeth Warren to set up the new agency. They've had plenty of help from the congressional Republicans, longtime recipients of campaign contributions from the payday loan industry. As the CFPB has moved closer to adopting new rules to shield families from predatory lending, the GOP has assailed the agency from every conceivable angle, going after its budget, attempting to tie its hands with new layers of red tape, fomenting conspiracy theories about rogue regulators, illegally shutting down businesses, and launching direct attacks on payday loan rules themselves. So you think that the head of the Democratic Party would try to protect Obama's legacy and actually try to shield this agency from any Republican attacks, right? Wrong. So Wasserman Schultz is co-sponsoring a new bill that would gut the CFPB's forthcoming payday loan regulations. She's also attempting to gin up Democratic support for the legislation on Capitol Hill, according to a memo obtained by the Huffington Post. The misleadingly titled Consumer Protection and Choice Act would delay the CFPB's payday lending rules by 2 years and nullify its rules in any state with a payday lending law, like the one adopted in Florida. The memo being passed around by Wasserman Schultz staffers describes the Florida state law as a model for consumer laws on payday loans and says the CFPB should adjust their payday lending rules to take into account actions Florida has already taken. Now, intuitively, this may make sense because if a state has laws on the books against these predatory payday lenders, well, then there's no need to double down at the federal level. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. So the problem here is that Florida's law is a sham, says Jeannie Robnett, director of the campaign to stop the debt trap at Americans for Financial Reform. It was backed by the industry. Now, if you don't like what the DNC chair is doing, and if you hate the direction that she's taken the party in, I've got great news for you. Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz actually has a challenger, Tim Canova, and here's what he had to say about this. Loan sharks should feel right at home in the party of Donald Trump, but con artists should have no place in the Democratic Party. This is another example of Debbie Wasserman Schultz failing the people of her district and progressive activists like you and me. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has been taking millions of dollars from the same corporate interests that profit from payday loans. So I love that response. If you really want to support Tim Canova's campaign and defeat Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz, the quintessential corporatist Democrat, then you could donate to his campaign. I'll put a link in the description box, but this is egregious, this is sickening, and the head of the Democratic Party who's supposed to be fighting for us should not be doing something like this.